In October 1913, the world-renowned psychologist, Dr. Carl Jung, has a startling vision. It comes on the heels of a near mental breakdown, resulting from overwhelming stress in his personal life. In that year, he was going through a contentious split from his mentor, Dr. Sigmund Freud, and he was being ridiculed by his colleagues in the field of psychology. In a very tangible way, Jung felt that his career as a respected psychologist, with his own private practice, was in serious jeopardy. This vision, which takes hold of him in October 1913, signals the beginning of a phase of his life which he will later call his confrontation with the unconscious, and it will be a time period during which he writes his most mystifying work, Liber Novus, otherwise known as the Red Book. In his autobiography, titled Memories, Dreams, Reflections, Jung states, "Toward the autumn of 1913, the pressure I had felt in me seemed to be moving outward, as though there were something in the air. The atmosphere actually seemed to me darker than it had been. It was as though the sense of oppression no longer sprang exclusively from a psychic situation, but from concrete reality. This feeling grew more and more intense. In October, while I was alone on a journey, I was suddenly seized by an overpowering vision. I saw a monstrous flood covering all the northern and low-lying lands between the North Sea and the Alps. When it came up to Switzerland, I saw that the mountains grew higher and higher to protect our country. I realized that a frightful catastrophe was in progress. I saw the mighty yellow waves, the floating rubble of civilization, and the drowned bodies of uncounted thousands. Then the whole sea turned to blood. This vision lasted about 1 hour. I was perplexed and nauseated and ashamed of my weakness. 2 weeks passed. Then the vision recurred, under the same conditions, even more vividly than before, and the blood was more emphasized. An inner voice spoke, "Look at it well. It is wholly real, and it will be so. You cannot doubt it." That winter, someone asked me what I thought were the political prospects of the world in the future. I replied that I had no thoughts on the matter, but that I saw rivers of blood. I asked myself whether these visions pointed to a revolution, but could not really imagine anything of the sort. And so I drew the conclusion that they had to do with me, and decided that I was menaced by a psychosis. The idea of war did not occur to me at all. Soon afterward, in the spring and early summer of 1914, I had a thrice-repeated dream that in the middle of summer, an Arctic cold wave descended and froze the land to ice. I saw, for example, the whole of Lorraine and its canals frozen, and the entire region totally deserted by human beings. All living green things were killed by frost. This dream came in April and May, and for the last time in June 1914. In the third dream, frightful cold had again descended from out of the cosmos. This dream, however, had an unexpected end. There stood a leaf-bearing tree, but without fruit. My tree of life, I thought, whose leaves had been transformed by the effects of the frost into sweet grapes full of healing juices. I plucked the grapes and gave them to a large, waiting crowd. On August 1st, the World War broke out. Now, my task was clear. I had to try to understand what had happened and to what extent my own experience coincided with that of mankind in general. Therefore, my first obligation was to probe the depths of my own psyche. This was a clip from my podcast, Creative Codex, where we explore the story of creativity as it's told through the lives of history's great creative geniuses. If you'd like to listen to the full episode, just follow the link in the video description or head on over to your favorite podcast player and search Creative Codex. That's Codex. On the show, we cover such incredible figures as Leonardo da Vinci, Frida Kahlo, Nikola Tesla, Salvador Dali, Robert Johnson, Dr. Carl Jung, Emily Dickinson, and many, many more. If you enjoyed this clip, then I can guarantee you'll love it. This is MJDorian signing off. I'll see you there.